All right, let's dive into the next part of the melatonin. How does melatonin factor in when it comes to sleep, and what is it?
Yeah, so melatonin is a hormone, and you can think of it like sometimes called referred to as like the vampire hormone or the sleep hormone. But melatonin sets the clock for our body to know that it's time to sleep. And so it's a lot of people actually supplement with melatonin. I'm not a big fan of that because our body naturally produces it, and why not just support your body's ability to produce enough of it so that you get to sleep. But how melatonin is released is there's cells in our eyes, and it's through lighting. So when the sun starts to set, there's little cells in our eyes that trigger, hey, it's time to turn on the melatonin faucet and set the timing of now it's time you know, to wind down. Now it's time to sleep.
Gotcha. So basically, what does what's melatonin look like throughout the day? Is it kind of like does it fluctuate throughout the day, or is it just simply kind of like when the sun starts to set and our eyes recognize that dimming of the light, if you will, it starts to turn on that faucet? Does it have any other role throughout the day?
Yeah, I mean, so melatonin is actually an amazing antioxidant. So if there's other reasons why people use melatonin, like to supplement with melatonin, but yeah, like all of our hormones are on a circadian rhythm. Like so for instance, like cortisol is highest in the morning. You have cortisol in your system all day long, but it's highest as soon as you wake up because that's what pulls you out of sleep. And same with melatonin. You know, melatonin is floating around in our bodies, but it really gets turned on towards the end of the day with that light trigger to then have the body be prepared for sleep.
Gotcha. And explain this to me. I think that I've heard before that melatonin is, like you said, it kind of lets your body know it's time to sleep. But I've also heard that mechanistically, it doesn't necessarily do anything to help you fall asleep. Is that correct, or is that accurate? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so there was a meta-analysis about melatonin. The meta-analysis is just like the study of all studies, right? That showed that melatonin actually doesn't help us fall or stay asleep. It's really there to help set the timing. So that's why it's effective if you're, for instance, if you're crossing time zones, supplementing with melatonin can be really helpful because it kind of helps set the time for that new time zone. Versus if you're using it because you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, it's not really going to help you fall asleep faster or stay asleep. It's really just it's like a Zeitgeber, they call it. It's like a clock setter, if you will. So it doesn't really it's not really effective according to the meta-analysis on it as far as using it to improve sleep for somebody that's really struggling with falling or staying asleep.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people. I feel like it's the biggest supplement that people use when it comes to falling asleep or just getting better sleep. And then some people will say that it did help, and it's hard to know whether or not it's just placebo or whether or not they did other things that they maybe just weren't really aware of that they changed that helped them fall asleep. But it's funny how a lot of people supplement with it when it's maybe not even really doing anything.
Yeah, I mean the placebo effect is massive,
Yeah. Yeah.
massive, and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the supplementation that people take that has melatonin in it, there was another study done that showed that that ranged even in the supplement brand and the specific supplement container like massively. So you might think, oh, I'm taking like, you know, zero point 0.5 milligrams, but you're actually taking a lot more or a lot less. So that I thought that was kind of interesting as far as just like the supplement world. You don't really know how much or how little melatonin you're taking.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
yeah, it's not regulated, right? So